Imagine having a tiny device quietly running on your desk, acting as your very own forever lottery ticket. With the NerdQaxe you've got your very own home miner that could potentially win 3.125 Bitcoin just by plugging it in and letting it run. Low heat, low noise, no hassle, and multiple ways to get paid, from regular small payouts to your Lightning wallet to rolling the dice every 10 minutes with the chance of hitting it big. In this tutorial, I'll walk you through exactly how to set up your own Nerdax Bitcoin miner and participate in the Bitcoin network. Plus, we'll compare this device to some of the other home miners I've had the pleasure of trying out. I'm Ben with the BTC Sessions. This is your daily session. So how should you be thinking about home mining if you're coming at it from the perspective of somebody that is perhaps in a city or town, you've got regular electricity rates, but you're really curious, you want to dip your toes in? Number one, can you make money doing this? Number two, what other appeals are there when it comes to home mining? So here's how I would think of it as an individual. Number one, you can think of it as I described in the intro, a lotto miner. This is a forever lottery ticket that can sit on your shelf, and you do a couple quick settings and then you can just check back every day and see if you hit the lottery and mined over 3 Bitcoin, which at the time of recording this video would net you close to $500,000. Sounds compelling. Okay, so there's one aspect of it. Now, the other aspect of it is, can you make money if you're just mining regularly? And what does that mean? Solo mining means you're basically competing with every other miner on the planet, throwing your hat in the ring. And then based on how much computing power you're using with that one device, or perhaps a few devices, those are your chances as a percentage of all the people on Earth doing that with various powered machines. That's your percentage chance of winning every 10 minutes this lottery that is Bitcoin mining. The chances of you doing it with a device like this, just one of them, are pretty slim. So very, very low chances, but I'd say still not as ridiculous as the chances of winning some of the larger lotteries out there as well. So you're telling me there's a chance, but that would be solo mining. So what about just mining normally? And I say quote unquote normally, what a lot of people do nowadays is pooled mining, where you're pooling your resources and then splitting the rewards. So you can picture multiple people buying a whole bunch of different lottery tickets, and if any one of them wins, they split up the rewards based on how much money each person paid into the lottery. And this is what pooled mining accomplishes. Can you be profitable doing that? And the answer is going to be nuanced here, but I would say largely in terms of profit, no. If you're getting regular electricity rates in a city or town, and you're trying to make money mining, your electricity cost is probably not going to outpace the Bitcoin that you're making. So then why do it? And here is the interesting part. One, I will say that if for some reason you're getting free power, then absolutely go ahead and do this. And, you'll make little bits of Bitcoin here and there, or you can just lotto mine if you prefer, but you can still make a little bit of Bitcoin each day. It's not going to be a lot. It's going to be tiny, tiny pieces of Bitcoin into a wallet. But I would say the reasons for doing this are twofold. One, if you build up a number of machines, you might get little payouts, and you're getting paid out in a way that is without KYC, meaning you don't have to give up your ID or anything. It is private, and you are just getting that Bitcoin. You can keep it. Nobody really knows you have it. So that's a bonus. Number two, I would also treat this as an educational opportunity. So you're using this as a way to learn about Bitcoin and how it works on the back end. It's a hobbyist thing. It's an opportunity to learn about Bitcoin mining and see how it works in in the actual process of mining. And the third thing that I would say, and this is what I'm doing, is I'm also educating my kids about Bitcoin through this. Hey, we've got this machine. It's a Bitcoin miner. What does it do? And the cool part is I can actually link a device like this up to a Lightning wallet of my daughter or my son's. And I can say, hey, this little machine, it's mining Bitcoin. And every day I want you to check your wallet and you're going to see a little bit of Bitcoin come into it. And it starts that process of them learning about this new monetary revolution. And when they see the number go up in their wallet, they get excited and it's interesting. So I think it's a great family sharing opportunity as well. Something cool that you can maybe do if you've got younger, curious kids. So lots of different things, lots of different angles there. Don't bank on being super profitable, mining off of grid power. And especially in a city, but if you got free power, then yeah, you can make a little bit of money here and there. And if you're just lotto mining and it's more of an educational thing for you, and you like the appeal and the dopamine hit of seeing if you mined a block of Bitcoin every single day, then absolutely worth it. But hopefully that clarifies a few things. Let's dive in to what you're going to need to know now. So let's start with some prerequisites here. What are you going to need to know in order to successfully navigate this tutorial? And to be honest, not too much. All you're going to need is to get your hands on the miner. Again, I've grabbed this one from CRYPTOCLOAKS and it came with the custom case and everything that I showed in the image at the beginning. And the thing is beautiful. It came with everything I need. So pretty much I just need to plug that in. You will need obviously a computer or a mobile device so that you can access the internet and set up the Wi-Fi for the actual miner. And other than that, you're going to need a Bitcoin wallet. Any Bitcoin wallet that has a regular Bitcoin address will do. In terms of the lotto mining. And if you're going to get a little bit deeper into it, maybe you're going to get lightning payouts, small payouts every 10 minutes or, every so often. If you're mining like that, then you're going to need a lightning wallet, which we'll touch on later in the video. And I'll offer videos that you can check out if you need to learn there. And if you are going to get even deeper and mine to your own lightning node, well, that will be towards the end as well. And I will offer up videos on the in-depth parts of that if you need a little extra know-how. But for now, we're going to start very, very basic, the simplest possible way to use the Nerdaxe. But first, let's take a look at the device and how to get it set up and plugged in. All right, let's take a quick look at everything that I have been shipped here, starting with the device itself. Pretty simple. We got the fan on the front here, got a little screen, and the main connection that we're going to be using is up top. That is where the power cable will go in. Outside of that, of course, we've got our power connections. We've got a block, the cable that will go into the device itself, and then we've got the attachment on the other side that will plug into the wall. Really, really simple. That just connects here into the wall, into the device. The device itself, we've got a killer 3D print from Rick over at CRYPTOCLOAKS. Love him for doing this. Really simple here. We can just get this out of the way, but it just plunks into place more or less. So I just slide it in here and push it down. I can screw it into place. There are spots for screws. I'm going to leave it as is right now. It is, there's enough friction there that should keep it in the case. And then we have this this stand here, this CRYPTOCLOAKS stand, and this thing would just slide in like so that it can stand upright on the desk like that. But for now, I'll place it down here so we can see what it looks like when I plug the thing in and how to connect via your mobile device for initial setup with your Wi-Fi. Okay, so with the device plugged in, we're going to see the main screen light up like so, and it lets me know that I want to connect to the following Wi-Fi network, either on a computer or on my mobile device. So we're going to start with the mobile device, and I'll just mention right now that if I zoom out a bunch, the fan is going. This thing is quiet. Like any hum that you're hearing is actually from some other mining devices that are here in the office. But this thing is like it's barely making a sound. So I'm super impressed already with that. So super awesome here. Let's connect with our mobile device and take a look. So it says the ID of the network is Nerdax _ it's Nerdax _ 1265. And if I go over and I look on my Wi-Fi networks for options here, and I search local networks, that I can see Nerdax 1265 right there. So I'm going to just tap and connect to that. So we'll jump over to the computer so we can see that a little bit more clearly, and then we'll be able to configure the entire thing from there once connected. All right, so here I am on my phone as we saw before, and we can go ahead and connect to the proper Wi-Fi network, which was the Nerdax 1265. So I'll click on that, and it's going to give me a notification, I believe. Do you want to stay connected? Or it might just boot me. Oh, yeah, there we go. It boots me directly to the interface here. So my main goal here, before we go through any of the interfaces, I just want to set up the Wi-Fi, okay? And so you can do that by going up to the top left menu, and we're going to go to Settings. And some of these menus will look a little bit different as you update, because you can update the software or the firmware on this device. But basically what I need to do is I need to put in the name of my Wi-Fi network where it says Wi-Fi SSID and my Wi-Fi password. And once I do that, I'm going to click Save, and then I'm going to click Restart. And that will allow me to be connected to my Wi-Fi network. And then it will tell me how to access this device on any browser at home, either on my phone or on my computer, as long as I'm on the same Wi-Fi network. So I'm going to plug in my information right now, and then I'll show you saving and restarting. All right, so I plugged in and above. I'm going to click Save. Okay, it says saved success. And now I'm going to hit restart, because it does say you must restart this device after saving for the changes to take effect. So we'll do that now. Perfect. And then it boots me from the Wi-Fi network. And I still see that if I do need to go in and change some settings, but I should be able to now go and access the device itself. And we will do that. We're going to take a look at what's on the main screen of the device, because that's what will tell us how to access it via any browser on the same network. Okay, so I am just recording this really quickly on my phone, so sorry for the audio quality here, but this device is now migrated over to my shelf, and you can see that the main screen has changed, and up top on the screen, at the top of the screen, there's an IP address right here, 192.168.50.192. And so all I need to do is I need to take that information, and there we go. I need to take that information, and I just need to type that into any browser on the same Wi-Fi. So we're going to jump over to the computer. I'm going to type that in, and we should get our full dashboard accessible from our computer. All right, so here we are on the computer. As you can see, I typed in that value in my browser, 192.168.50.192. And that's going to be different for everyone. It will assign an IP address on your local network to the device, and that's how you'll access it. Just make sure you are indeed on the same network, the same Wi-Fi. Nonetheless, before I get into anything here, we're just going to update everything with this device because when it ships, it may not be on the latest software. We want to make sure that we're up to date. So I'm just going to go over to the left and I'm going to click on settings. And we're going to scroll down here and we see current version, update firmware, and behind me, and maybe I'll just get myself off the screen for a second so you can fully see. We see update firmware and we see update website. So firmware is the actual back-end infrastructure of how this runs, and website is the visual representation that we see here, and all the graphics and everything, the way that we navigate through our settings. So first I'm going to click on current version. We'll hit check and it shows me, hey, looks like there is indeed an update. And so I'm going to click here to download file number 1. And sometimes it'll ask you if you want to keep it because it's unfamiliar where it came from. I'm going to say keep. And then I'm going to also download this second file here. And once again, I will choose to keep it. Okay, great. Now I need to actually go ahead and update this. And the way that I do that is I'm going to choose browse and I'm going to click the first file that I downloaded. It ends in .bin. So that is this one. It tells me which one right here in the interface. So that's the one I want. And it will go ahead and it will update the firmware here and it will tell me when that is done. I do believe I have to hit the flash button as well. So I've selected the file. So I hit flash and there we go. So it'll give me a little progress bar. And once it's done, we should see that it's been finished. Okay, so it bumps me back to the screen here once it's done. And I'm going to do the exact same thing over here where it says website. So I'm going to browse. I'm going to grab the appropriate file. And again, it tells me what it should look like here. I'll hit open. And then we will choose flash. Okay, once it's done, it bumps us back to the settings page. I am going to give it one little restart just in case, just to make sure everything is going okay. So I'll hit restart here. And after hitting restart, I'll just go back to the dashboard and just see that everything is still working here. And then let's take a look at what's in front of us. So over here on the left-hand side, we have a bunch of different things: dashboard, swarm, settings, influx, database, alerts, and system. So lots of stuff to dive through to get ourselves familiar. Outside of that, we are going to look at some of the other things, but I want to get this thing set up as quickly as possible, as simply as possible for you. So that's what we're going to do first. We're going to figure out how do we get this thing set up and mining right away as a lotto miner with minimal pain and effort. Bitcoin Well is the best place to be buying and selling Bitcoin in Canada and the US. And now with Bitcoin Well Infinite, it's also the best place to be making large buys at their OTC desk of over $50,000. Their white glove service gives you fast transactions, no slippage, and the lowest fees. You can scan the QR code on the screen or simply head to bitcoinwell.com/BTC sessions to sign up today. And you can share your own personalized referral link to earn commissions. CoinKite has been in the game for years, creating hands down the best and most secure hardware when it comes to securing your Bitcoin. The Cold Card Q is an absolute powerhouse and my daily driver, and it's ideal for newcomers and advanced users alike. The Tap Signer gives you a low-cost, user-friendly option for those just getting started or for convenience when traveling. You can head to coinkite.com and use code BTC Sessions for discounts, or simply scan the QR code on the screen to get started right away. Debify is the best and easiest way to borrow against your Bitcoin in a non-custodial way. Funds are held in a multi-sig escrow where you hold a key, and the platform allows for excellent hardware like the Cold Card Mark IV and the Q. You have access to flexible conditions, the best rates, and institutional grade liquidity. If you're looking to make use of your capital, don't sell your Bitcoin, borrow against it. You can head over to debify.com to check them out, or simply scan the QR code on the screen. Okay, so let's set this thing up to solo mine. And what I mean by solo mining is that you're going to be treating this thing as a lottery ticket. You are mining by yourself, and your chances of successfully mining and getting rewarded are slim. But if you do, then you would get the full reward for that 10-minute chunk, meaning that at the time of recording this video, you would be getting 3.125 Bitcoin. And let's see exactly how much that is worth right now. So at the time of recording this video, and again, obviously this is going to change as time goes on, but at the time of recording this video, 3.125 Bitcoin would be $365,000. And so I don't know about you, but I like the idea of having the chance to win $365,000 every 10 minutes. And that's exactly what this device effectively does. It's entering you into a lottery because you're contributing to the network, and you have a percentage chance of getting that. Again, it's slim, but you can keep checking your wallet. And if you're already buying lottery tickets anyways, I would say this is a more effective use of your money. You only have to buy it once, and then you can just sit there and check your wallet on the daily and get those dopamine hits that way instead of continually spending more money on lottery tickets forever. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and set this thing up. So what we're going to do is we're going to go on the left to settings. And the important information here is primary stratum pool. So we're going to leave this host as public-pool.io. We're going to leave this port. We're not going to do anything to it. What we do need to change, though, is the Bitcoin address. Okay, so this is a Bitcoin address here. We need to get a Bitcoin wallet. Now, I do have already a Bitcoin wallet set up, and I'll just hop over to that. This is Sparrow Wallet. I've done a full tutorial on it. I know there's a lot in front of you. It might look a little intimidating. I have the same wallet because you can access the same wallet from multiple different apps. This is Blue Wallet, and it might be a little bit more your speed if you're very new to Bitcoin. Pretty simple. You have a balance up top. You can see that balance in sats or your local currency or in full Bitcoin. A side note, there are 100 million sats in a full Bitcoin. And then you've got your simple transaction history and then a receive and a send button. And so on Blue Wallet, it's pretty simple. You hit receive and you have a Bitcoin address that you can just tap and copy. In Sparrow Wallet, there is a receive screen that you go to, but the exact same lesson still applies. This up here is a Bitcoin address that I can click on and copy. Now, if I want to give it a label that says NerdQaxe ++, that way, if I do suddenly find myself having received a bunch of Bitcoin, I will know, oh, that was the address that was for the Nerdax. So I won a block. I won 300 and something thousand some odd dollars. So that would be Sparrow tutorial wallet that I've set up here. Just a side note, if you don't know how to set up a Bitcoin wallet, go and check in the show notes for my Sparrow wallet tutorial. Or if you just download Blue Wallet, I've got a video on that as well. It's a pretty basic interface and it should do you just fine for these purposes. But for today, we're going to be using our Sparrow wallet. So nonetheless, as I said, I've copied my Bitcoin address. Let's jump back. And we're just going to go ahead and replace what's here with our own Bitcoin address. And then we'll just go and we'll hit save and we'll do a quick restart. Okay, so now that I gave it a reboot and I've navigated on the left back to the dashboard, we can see that we are now mining. And the way I can tell that is we see data on the graph here, but namely up top, we see hash rate and we see how much we are hashing. So right now, 4,821 gigahash per second, or 4.8 terahash is another way of saying that. If we jump over, we see a bunch of stats. We see hash rate, shares, efficiency, so how much energy you're using per terahash, so 17.58 joules per terahash, and then our difficulty. Down below, we see our power, so 81.4 watts. We see the input voltage at 12 volts and the ASIC voltage at 1.15. We see the heat, so about 55 degrees Celsius, and we see the fan speed is currently up at 100%. You can hear it humming a little bit, but really not too loud. And then the temperatures of different things. We also see the RPM of the fan and the performance overall, ASIC frequency, voltage measured, all of that. And then we down below see our pool information, the user, the host, the port, all of that information right there for us. So with that, pretty much at this point, if this is all you wanted to do, if you just wanted to solo mine as a lotto miner and just kind of roll the dice, leave this thing running, then that's it. You can check back in your wallet and see if you've mined Bitcoin each day. Again, chances are, slim, just like playing the regular lottery. But there is that chance every day that you have, in fact, every 10 minutes on average, every block, that you have of potentially mining some Bitcoin. And so this is one way of setting it up, but there is some alternatives, and we're going to take a look at those next. I'll also mention here just a couple things. So you may have noticed on my dashboard that the data, the graph here, I kind of had this dip and then climb. My internet was just kind of crapping out on me, so I had a quick restart here, which is the reason for that. Also, I was playing around with different SoloPools. So when we initially set things up, we were using public-pool.io right here, and this port 21496. But you may have noticed that, hey, those aren't the same settings that you have there. We have something else. And the reason for that is I wanted to highlight that this isn't the only public pool option in town. There's also something called CKPool, or solo.ckpool.org. And exact same idea, you would use this solo.ckpool.org, and then you would use the port 3333. And so you can see that in my settings here, and then you just put your Bitcoin address and save and restart. And same idea, you are now solo mining, and if you happen to hit a block, it goes to your own Bitcoin address in your own Bitcoin wallet. But the exact same thing can be done with both public pool and SoloPool, aka CKPool, here with your Nerdaxe. So what if you actually, rather than wanting to play lotto mining and the off chance that you get paid, what if you actually want to see small payments coming in to a wallet for you? Well, we're going to cover that now, and we're going to do it into a Lightning wallet that you can link up with a mining pool. So you're going to be actually doing pooled mining with your Nerdaxe. Now, keep in mind that the payouts here won't be sizable, but at least you'll get the demonstration of, oh, I am mining, I am receiving some Bitcoin in return, and I'm getting small payouts, every day into my wallet. So let's take a look at how to do that. And what we're going to be using for this is Braiins, because it's very simplistic in how you can link a Lightning wallet. So I've already signed up with an account here, and it's just email address and password. That's really all you need. And what I want to do first here, and I've used this before, so there's going to be some stats indicating that I've used Braiins Pool before, some workers and some other devices that have previously been connected. But the same general lesson will apply once you get into your dashboard. So first up, I want to set up a wallet. So up top, I'm going to go to Funds, and I'm going to add a new account with the blue button in the top right, and I'm going to name it. And for this, I'm going to be using a wallet called Wallet of Satoshi. So I'll just put WOS for short, and I'll say Add New Account. Now this adds an account here, and it gives me a payout rule that I can set up under that row. So I'm going to hit Setup, and then I'm going to choose my Lightning payout, and I'm going to get my Lightning address for my wallet. Now, Wallet of Satoshi looks like this, and if I hit receive, it actually shows me my Lightning address. You can actually customize this in Wallet of Satoshi yourself, but mine is btcsessions@walletofsatoshi.com. So I will copy that, and I'm going to paste it in right here. Now, it says there's a threshold value of 1 sat to pay out because Lightning is cheap to send, so we don't need to worry. Basically, if I earn more than 1 sat, which is 1/100 millionth of a Bitcoin, it will send it to me. Okay, so I understand that the wrong Lightning address will result in permanent loss of rewards sent to the address because they can't claw them back afterwards. So make sure that your address is correct. I'll hit that. I'll say confirm changes. Okay, I will authenticate. And it gives me an email confirmation, which I'll go through and click on just off screen here. Okay, after clicking through on the email, then I can see that the payout settings have been verified. So there we go. Now, there's one other thing that you should be aware of. If you do have multiple wallets, you're going to want to make sure in the settings over on the left-hand side that your rewards are going to the correct wallet. And you can split it amongst multiple wallets, but for this example, I'll just make sure that I choose Wallet of Satoshi that we just set up with 100% of rewards going there, and I'll save those changes. Now, up next, what I would like to do is go and add my mining rig, my Nerdaxe, to my Braiins pool. So I want to point it to Braiins pool so that I can get paid to my Wallet of Satoshi when I do contribute. So we're going to go up to mining, and then we're going to go to workers. And so workers would be different devices that you have. And we're going to click on connect workers over in the right-hand side there, the blue button. And it gives us some information much like we've used before. And we're going to use this. In order to plug in the information on our Nerdaxe. So we need stratum.braiins.com. So we'll go to our dashboard, we'll go to our settings, and where we put it before, we're going to now change it to this, stratum.braiins.com. And then the port is still 3333. Now the user ID, okay? We need BTC sessions and then we need to give it a worker name, and then our password can be whatever we want. So we need to change this Bitcoin address to BTC sessions we're going to say NerdQaxe, and you can name it whatever you want. But I'm going to leave that as is. I'll just leave the password as is, and we can hit save. And even though you can't see it, the button just here that's just out of sight, I'm going to hit restart. And so what we should see on the other side of this, on the dashboard as it loads, is we'll begin hashing again momentarily. So we'll start to see the hash rate pick up. And then we'll also see some activity over on Braiins pool. But this will take a second to take place, so we'll just wait. And in the meantime, on our Braiins pool, we can hit on connected, go back. It'll just take us back to our workers screen. Again, this and the dashboard will update momentarily, showing the new connected device. So it's now been some time. We can see we're up and hashing again. This time, if we scroll down, we can see the details. Yep, we're here at braiins.com. Everything is working correctly. And let's take a look at Braiins Pool, the website there. And we can see that indeed we do have an online worker. It says we're around 4 terahash a second. And this is giving us an average over 5 minutes, I believe. And then if we look over here on the right, we can see that there's a graph that's starting to give some data, but this will be filled out over time. Nonetheless, we now know that as we earn rewards through the pool with our device, those will then get paid out to our wallet of Satoshi Lightning wallet over here. So we'll see that happen over time, but we will let this thing plug away for a little while, and we'll see some of those payouts momentarily. All right, so jumping ahead, I actually left this thing going for a while here. It is now the next day. Now, the way that Braiins mining works is that they have a daily payout, and once it hits a certain point, a certain time in the day, it will aggregate all of the mining, all the work that you've done throughout the day, and then give you your payout based upon that. Now, this thing wasn't running very long before the threshold kind of kicked in to tally up my rewards. So, it was a lackluster payout, but let's take a look at what happened here. So here's the overview from Braiins Pool, tracking my input and tracking how much work I've been putting in and how many terahash per second I've been contributing. If I go to funds and then I go to my wallet of Satoshi account, I can see that I got a whopping 32 sats, aka 4 cents at the time of recording this video that was paid out to me. You can, and I'll get myself off the screen here, but you can see here that it did the calculation for the other day, again, for I don't know, not very much time of mining, but it gave me said, hey, this is how much work you did today. And then it did a payout shortly thereafter that I did indeed get to my wallet. And again, just as proof of concept here, we'll take a look at the wallet. So this is wallet of Satoshi, and I can see the payment right there, 32 sats coming in to the wallet. So I was able to utilize my Nerdax and Braiins mining and link it to a Lightning wallet that I had on my phone and get a simple payout on a daily basis without having to do lotto mining if that's not what I want, if I want to just get some sats here and there. So there you go. There you have it. Braiins Pool mining directly from my Nerdax into my wallet of Satoshi. Now, for these next segments, we're going to dive into how to mine with your Nerdax in a more self-sovereign way, meaning that you're hosting some of the infrastructure yourself and getting more control over your setup. And so one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to host our own instance of public pool on our own Bitcoin node using something called Start9. If you're unfamiliar with Start9, I will link a tutorial video to it down below. Now, the tutorial video also shows building the thing. You can just order them already pre-built, so you can skip through that section. If you still need to learn about how to use a Start9, it will break down the rest of what you need to know. But let's take a look at my Start9 right now. So this is indeed a device that is sitting behind me on my shelf, and it allows me to run like a Bitcoin node and a Lightning node and a whole bunch of different Bitcoin related things and some non-Bitcoin related things as well. And so when we utilize something like public pool in the first example, this infrastructure that coordinates the payouts and everything like that, it is hosted by somebody else. So you're banking on this infrastructure being able to be run by somebody else, that it's still going to be there and continue to function. But what happens if, public pool or CK pool or whatever it is, what if these get rug pulled? What if they are no longer running or being hosted? How do you then solo mine? How do you go about doing that? And so one of the options is to use something like a Start9 and download an app, which is basically your own version of Public Pool. And so I'm just going to quickly show what that looks like. So they have a marketplace, an app store, and there's a little change button here that allows you to flip between different registries. So Start9 will host different apps that you can download. There's a beta registry of stuff that is still kind of in testing phases. And there's also a community registry where anybody can put different applications in there. And that's the one that I'm clicked on right now. I'm in the community registry. And so I can simply look up public, and as soon as I start to type it, I can see Public Pool right there. I would click on it. I've already installed it, but you can choose to install it with one of the buttons that show up right here. And then at that point, once it's downloaded and installed, you go to your services, or another word for that would be your downloaded apps. It says that it needs configuration. All you would do is you would click on it. You click on the configure button. It allows you to change some of the parameters here, but you don't have to. You can just hit the save button and then the green start button up top, and the thing should begin to run. And then we'll take a look at how to hook it up to our Nerdax. Looking for a simple and secure way to manage your Bitcoin on mobile? Aqua Wallet has you covered. It's user-friendly and puts you in full control of your Bitcoin with secure self-custody. Aqua also supports Lightning and Liquid Network, making fast, cheap Bitcoin payments and asset transfers easier than ever. Plus, it even supports stablecoins, giving you ultimate flexibility. Built on open source code, Aqua is transparent, trustworthy, and perfect for beginner and pros alike. Ready to upgrade your Bitcoin experience? Click the link in the show notes or scan the QR code on the screen now to download Aqua Wallet today.
If you've been around Bitcoin for more than a minute, you've definitely seen something made by CryptoCloaks. Since 2017, they've been the go-to for badass 3D printed Bitcoin gear, from custom home mining rigs to sleek hardware wallet mounts that make your setup look pro. I've been stacking Cloaks gear for years, and most recently I grabbed their Gamma case for my miner. Let me tell you, it turns some heads. You can customize everything, and of course, the legendary Bitcoin grenade, yeah, that's them. Hit the link in the show notes or scan the QR code to visit CryptoCloaks.com and stack your own custom Cloaks gear today.
Securing your Bitcoin doesn't have to be complicated or invasive. With Nunchuck's Honey Badger plan, you get state-of-the-art multisig with built-in inheritance planning and no KYC required. Nunchuck is trusted by users to secure billions of dollars in Bitcoin. The Honey Badger plan offers 204 assisted multisig, guiding you step-by-step on mobile or desktop. It works seamlessly with hardware wallets like TapSigner, Coldcard, Jade, and plenty of others, so you're always in control. Plus, with non-KYC inheritance planning, you can ensure your Bitcoin goes to your loved ones. No private info needed. Take control of your Bitcoin today. Click the link in the show notes or scan the QR code on the screen to check out the Honey Badger plan. Now, I did want to say that when it comes to the public pool application or service that you download, for the time being, there are some extra steps, and they seem intimidating, but really it's just copy and pasting some stuff. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. So here in the public pool, when I'm clicked on public pool, inside of the application, there's some instructions. And it says that StartOS at the time of recording this video does not support forwarding non-HTTP ports yet, like the Stratum port. So basically just how it communicates with the device and with the program. Until this is possible, you can use the following method to open and forward the Stratum port. And basically it says that you're going to use what's known as a terminal window to access your device from your computer here. And then you're going to copy and paste some commands. So I'm going to show exactly what you do. So first up, you're going to be using the terminal. And so I'm on a Mac. The easiest way to find the terminal is just hit the little spotlight magnifying glass in the top right and type in terminal and then open it up. It looks like this. Now at this point, you're going to need to what's known as SSH into your device. So you're going to be typing a command to access the back end of your device to make some changes. So the way you do that is you type in SSH start9 at, and then the IP address of your device. Remember, I mentioned that you can use things like LANScan or Angry IP Scanner to find the IP address of your device. And so what I'm going to do here is I'll grab that IP address. It's also up here in my browser because that's how I access my device in the browser. I'm just going to copy the IP address of my Start9 device, and I'm going to paste it in here. So SSH Start9 at the local IP address of it, and hit enter. Now it's going to ask me for the password of my device. So I type that in. You won't see any typing when you do it, but when you hit enter, it will log you into your device. Now at this point, we just follow along and copy and paste what it tells us here in the instructions. So I'm going to basically say sudo-i. So I'm going to paste that in, hit enter. And that allows me root access to how the device is functioning. Okay, at this point, it says run the following command to switch to the ch-rooted environment. Any system changes made now will be persisted across reboots, meaning that any changes that you make here, every time you reboot the device, they will remain constant. So pretty much what you're going to be doing is you're going to copy and paste this command. You're going to head over here and you're just going to paste it in and you're going to hit enter. Now, I've already gone through this process, so I'm not going to duplicate everything, but you copy and paste and then you hit enter on the keyboard. You'll see some stuff pop up. Once that's done, you go back and you copy the next string right here. You copy and paste it. You go to your terminal window, you paste it in and hit enter. Then when that's finished, you go and there's a big chunk here. You literally just copy and paste this. Head over to the terminal, paste it in, hit enter. And then finally, well, almost finally, you're going to copy and paste this string and head back, paste it in, hit enter. And then finally, you're going to either copy and paste or simply type exit and then paste it in and hit enter. And this will reboot your Start9 device. And so that will take a few minutes. You'll hear like dings and little sounds as it reboots and does some stuff. But once it boots back up, you will have all of those necessary changes made so that you'll be able to easily access everything. So I'm just exiting out here of everything, and I can just close the terminal window because, again, I've already done the steps that I described there. But nonetheless, I've already gone through and done that. That means that my public pool should be working just fine. And again, I can hit the Launch UI button. And that's going to bring up this website. And it looks, well, exactly like the public pool website, but it's being hosted on your own local machine. And so what this does is it actually just pulls from your local copy of the Bitcoin blockchain and all of the transactions that are waiting in the mempool. And if you happen to successfully mine a block, it will put together a block from your own information that you're aggregating on your own machine, and then you'll get your payout. And so here it says our information to connect, much like on public pool. So I'll just click on the public pool website here. Remember, they gave us publicpool.io and then a port number. And the one on our self-hosted public pool, it says we need our IP address of our device and then this port number, 3333. Okay. And then, of course, our Bitcoin address, worker name, however we want to put it in there. Okay, so that means that we need the IP address of our Start9 server. And so I happen to know mine already here. I have it up in the browser. That's how I've been accessing it. But if you don't know the IP address of your device, you can either download something like Angry IP Scanner, and it scans your local network, and it'll say something like start 9, and you can copy the IP address. Another one that I use is LAN Scan, and this is for Mac. Works pretty well. You just hit scan. It'll show you all the different devices in your network, and you'll be able to copy the IP address. So nonetheless, I actually have my IP address up here, and I'll give it a quick little copy. So all I need is just the number, and I'm going to copy that. We'll jump over to our Nerdax dashboard. And as we've done before, when we're changing things, we go to settings, and we go to the Stratum pool here, and we're going to change it. We're going to go to there. We're going to paste in the IP address. And then this was actually the correct port. And now for user, we need our Bitcoin address. And so that we will grab from our wallet that we had open before. Let's go to the receive, and it was this one here. So we'll copy that, and I'll paste that in instead of BTC sessions because that's my username for Braiins. So I'll paste that in, and you can have the device name. You don't necessarily need to have that, but I'll leave that there so we can see what it looks like. And then that's pretty much it. So you just paste in the IP address, the port, your Bitcoin address, and if you want at the end, a period, and then the name of the device. Okay. And that can be anything. So I'm just going to hit save. We're going to give it a restart as well. And then we'll come back in a minute and see that this thing is indeed hashing and mining via our own public pool. So here we are on the Nerdax. Everything is rebooted. Everything is now hashing. And how do we know that we're actually doing it to our own public pool? Well, we scroll down and we can see there's our IP address of our start9, the port, the user is our own Bitcoin address. All of that stuff is now filled out, and it lets us know that our hash rate, what our hash rate is, all the information that we've gone through before. Furthermore, you can actually go to your public pool. You can actually search up your workers on your own self-hosted public pool by pasting in the Bitcoin address or the user. So we'll just grab that here. I'll just copy the Bitcoin address if I can. We'll go to settings to grab it then. So I'll just copy just the Bitcoin address is fine. And we'll go back to public pool, and I can paste it in here. And I'll hit my workers, and it finds it. There we go. So we see our device, our Nerdax here. It lets us know our hash rate, all that, and our performance over time on our own public pool. You can point multiple miners to the same public pool. That is no difference whatsoever. You can see everything overall listed here. And that's that. So now, added self-sovereignty, you're pointing your own home miner at your own node, which is hosting a copy of public pool entirely on your own based on the mempool from your Bitcoin node over here. Pretty cool. Up next, I want to show another way to mine with your NerdQaxe, and we're going to be mining directly to our own Lightning node, aka getting payouts via Ocean mining pool directly to your own Start9 core Lightning node. And so we're going to take a look at that right now. So on our Nerdax, we're going to go to our settings, and we're going to be taking a look again at our pool. And then I'm going to pull up the ocean.xyz website. Again, Ocean, awesome place to mine Bitcoin if you're looking at pooled mining. And so how are we going to go about this? Well, right here, it says to start mining, you can simply point your miners to mine.ocean.xyz, and the port is 3334. Okay, that is simple enough. So pretty much we have all the info we need, and then we just need our Bitcoin address. So I'm going to grab this info first. So mine.ocean.xyz. we'll go here, and that is our host. And remember, the port was 3334, so we'll just change that. And we're going to leave our Bitcoin address as the Stratum user. I'm not going to put Nerdax or anything like that there. I'll just leave it as is, just for simplicity's sake. And I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to keep this address for a moment, though, in my clipboard, because we'll use that again in a second. And at this point, I'm going to save and restart the device as we've done in the past. We'll go back to the dashboard and just wait for it to get rolling. And then we'll continue on, because right now we, of course, are not mining to a Lightning address. We just put in a regular Bitcoin address. So there's just an extra step to do after this. Okay, so our device is restarted. It's beginning to mine again. And so now we need to head over to the Ocean homepage. And we're going to click up in the top right where it says Dashboard. And this allows you, if you scroll down a little bit, to search by username, aka your Bitcoin address for your workers. So I'm going to paste in my Bitcoin address and search. And it does take a second to recognize and find you. So if you do this right away, you may not show up. It may say nothing found, but it's been a couple of minutes. So here I am. So it finds me. And this is where we configure things and basically make it so that we are able to get payouts to a Lightning address. And so we need to do the following. We need to go ahead. There's documentation here that'll open up in a page. We'll take a look at that. And so it says, okay, so they use something called Bolt 12 for Lightning payouts. And so the long and the short of it, with Start OS right here, this is what you need to do. You need to have Core Lightning as a Lightning node on your device. So if I'm on Start OS, that is this right here, Core Lightning. And of course, with running your own Lightning nodes, there's some additional steps. There's getting a Lightning channel and all that kind of stuff. That is beyond the scope of this video, but I will include a link down below for using Start OS and getting your own Lightning node, and all that kind of stuff is included in there. You can check that out. But when you launch Core Lightning, it gives you this interface here. Shows how many Lightning channels you have, a balance and everything. And so I've used this mostly for demo purposes. But it does walk us through what to do. We want to, enter a password to get in there, which I've already done. I'm going to click Receive and then choose Offer. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So under the Lightning wall, I'm going to hit Receive. I'm going to pick Offer. And then what else does it tell me to do? Enter Ocean payouts for, and then your Bitcoin address in place of address here, and leave the amount blank. Okay, so I'm going to do that. So, and it has to be exact. It has to be exactly this. Okay. Ocean payouts for, and then a space, and then I need the Bitcoin address. So once again, I'll just go into my settings and I'll grab it here for that. Okay, jump back and we'll paste it in. Okay, so I'm going to leave the amount blank and then I'm going to hit generate offer. Okay, cool. That gives us this QR code and this string of digits down below. We need that. We need that string of digits. We're going to copy it. Let's see what else it says. Okay, so we did that. We got our QR code. We copied it. Okay. Now we're going to generate a configuration message. So once you've generated your offer, you're going to go to the My Stats page for your Ocean Bitcoin address, and you're going to click configuration, the configuration link to the next block to access the configuration form. Okay, so that looks like this. Okay, I'll bring it over. So we're here on the configuration. We were already here before, but we're going to paste in that Bolt 12 offer is what we need, and the block height. So we're going to hit generate. And this gives us a string of digits, a string of code here. And it says that we need to sign this with our wallet. Well, what wallet? Well, in this case, Sparrow Wallet. And Sparrow Wallet allows us to sign a message and prove that we are the people who own the Bitcoin address above. Because if you think about it, if we just said, hey, any payments that are supposed to go to this Bitcoin address come to us now, to this Lightning address. Well, what if you don't actually own that Bitcoin address? So it's looking for proof that we do. And Sparrow allows us to do this. So how do you do that in Sparrow? Here, you're going to go to Tools. You're going to say Sign and Verify a Message. And you're going to paste in that string of text that you got before. And you're also going to paste in the address from above. And once this Verify Message thing is open, it doesn't allow me to do anything. So I'll just go and grab it from my dashboard here on the Nerdaxe. But I'll go back, paste in the address, and then I'm going to say sign. And it gives me this output. So this is the proof that we own this address, because only the person that owns that Bitcoin address could sign this message. So it's basically saying, I own this address and I want any payouts to be sent to this Lightning address. So we're just going to jump back to Ocean. We're going to paste the signature and we're going to confirm. And there we go. Configuration accepted. What that means now is that we are mining, just to reiterate, we are mining with our Nerdaxe. Our Nerdaxe is pointed at Ocean. Ocean is a mining pool. And Ocean knows that we own a certain Bitcoin address. This one over here, I can hit done now. They know that we own this Bitcoin address, and that rather than get paid to this Bitcoin address, we want to get paid to our own Lightning node, right here. And we've just set it up so that we will receive Lightning payouts to our core Lightning node, which is on our Start9 server. I know that's a lot, but if you missed anything, go back, follow through. And if you're unfamiliar with setting up your own Lightning node on your Start9 server, check the video in the show notes down below. All right, so let's do some miner comparisons. How does the NerdQaxe stack up to some of the other devices that I've played with so far? So I'm starting here on CryptoCloaks because they've got a whole bunch of stuff on home mining, different devices, and then 3D printed gear that can go along with it as well. So let's take a peek at a few things. So this is a device that I have and that I've played with. It is the BitAxe Gamma 601. It has 1.2 terahash on it, and it is a nifty little device. I quite enjoy it. The layout of the interface is more or less exactly as you saw in the video, a little bit different in the branding department because it says BitAxe instead of Nerdaxe, but it's the same general thing. If you're confused the difference between BitAxe and Nerdaxe, Nerdaxe is just a fork of the BitAxe project with an updated screen and a slightly different interface, just looks wise. You can see the screen here on the BitAxe is pretty basic. It's just like regular kind of typeface, whereas the screen on the Nerdaxe is full color and everything like that. This one, obviously much less powerful in terms of terahash. Remember, it's stated that the Nerdaxe is about 4 times higher than this, roughly, in terms of bang for your buck and hashing power. But the price here is around $110 at the time of recording this video. Power plug is 6 amps. Let's jump up to another device that they've got here. I've not tried this one myself. It's on the list, so keep an eye out for a video on it. But the Avalon Nano 3S. And so this device around $300. But the stats, pretty decent actually. 6 terahash a second. That is higher than the Nerdaxe. Has 12 chips. It is 28 volt, 5 amp, 140 watts, around 30 to 40 decibels in terms of sound. Pretty solid. I'd like to play with this. I haven't gotten hands on or anything, but it looks cool. I would very much like to play. So keep an eye out. Also from Canon, the Avalon Q. Now this is getting more serious. Like it's not, I'd say it's not exactly hobbyist, right? Especially by the price tag, like $1,900. Why is it that much? Well, let's look at the stats here. It's friggin' 90 terahash per second. So yeah, it's got great power efficiency, everything like that. 110 to 240 volt, 1674 watts, 45 to 65 decibels. Yeah, so I mean, this thing is a lot more serious. So if you're getting this, plan on it putting off a little bit of heat, being still not super loud, but a little bit louder than some of the other options out there, and consuming more power. Jumping up next, let's talk about the Braiins Mini Miner. This is the Braiins Mini Miner 101, $300. So what do you get with this? It's 40 watts. So, still not, kind of mid-level power, but only 1 terahash. So it's definitely underpowered. Like that's basically the same as like this BitAxe here that's going for $110. So I would say that this thing needs a bit of an update. That said, what does it have that the others that could adjust for the price? I mean, the big screen on it is definitely going to have an impact on the price. The whole thing is actually encased in metal as well. Like the thing feels premium, whereas the things that we were looking at before are more plastic, with the exception of this one here. I believe that's in, I could be wrong, but I think it has some metal encasing, and it's just a larger unit in general. But yeah, so like it has a premium feel to it. It has like cool dashboards on the front and everything. It's very nice. It looks nice in the home. But yeah, definitely underpowered comparatively. And so that brings us here to the NerdQaxe++. So 4.5 terahash. So that puts it quite a bit above the BitAxe Gamma 601. Quite a bit above the Braiins Mini Miner here. Not quite as high as the Avalon Nano 3S in terms of hash power, and definitely not as high as the Avalon Q, but I'd say that's in kind of a tier of its own. It looks badass though. I like the screen on it. I think it's great. So around $450 for that one, but it comes with the custom 3D printed case, right? Like that's also factoring into the cost here. So, you're getting the device, you're getting pretty good hash power out of the device, and you're getting this awesome custom print at the same time. So, I'm pretty happy with kind of this range that it's in, whereas like, you go for something that's cheaper like the Canon, it looks how it looks. That's just basically how it is. And so like it's more kind of your preference. I will say that I think this is understating the hash rate here, 4.5 terahash. Most of the time when I've seen this thing running, it's been up above 5, but 4.8 seems to be the realistic kind of average. This is what it's saying. It's just shy of 4.9 terahash. So yeah, like I think they're understating that on the website here. So I'd say that this is a pretty solid choice, especially if you want that kind of wow factor of the look of it, but mixed in with some solid hash power. Then that might be a pretty good choice. Now, one other device that I have played with in the realm of mining, this would be the Apollo 2 from FutureBit. And so they've got 2 versions of this. This device also is quite nice. It's encased in metal. It looks great. The interface itself on it, like on the desktop, the web interface is also very nice. Has a ton of good features. This one itself sits at around $700. In terms of hash power, though, it's anywhere from 6 to 10 terahash per second. So the regular eco mode, this is where it's not super loud and where it's not putting off too much heat, would be in and around 6. And the just when you go balls to the walls, then you're going to get up around 9 or 10 terahash. It is 450 watts, 100 to 240 volt power supply. Okay, so 450 watts roughly what this thing is taken. Now there's 2 versions. I said this version is just the miner, but you can get a version, and this is the one that I have. It's a full node system. So that means that not only is it the miner, but it's also a full Bitcoin node. And what that means is you can actually build your own block templates on the device and refer to the node here. And then also you can point other miners to your own full node and your own Apollo and watch all of the hash rate on the dashboard. So it's pretty cool. It comes with a larger price tag. It's $1,000 for the 1 terabyte SSD. I would venture to say that 1 terabyte is not enough at this point. The Bitcoin blockchain is growing enough. You'd probably want the 2 terabyte, but those are sold out. Those are out of stock. But the 2 terabyte is in and around $1,150. So, the price is getting up there for this. So it's weighing, okay, price versus function and hash rate, and kind of just personal preference. I think that this one that we did today is pretty badass. I quite like it. I think it looks great. And maybe I'm biased because I have my face emblazoned on it, but I think it's pretty sweet. So yeah, there you have it. Just power versus price, and functionality. And so it's going to be your personal preference, but hopefully that gives you a jumping off point. Now, there are some other things that if you're still curious about Bitcoin mining and further different ways to mine with this device and others, I encourage you to check out my video on the BitAxe and using your Start 9 with something called Datum and Ocean Mining to be able to build your own block templates from your Start 9 device. It's a bit beyond the scope of this video just because it was a very dedicated process, but I encourage you to go check out the video. I will link it down below. And the interface with the BitAxe that I used in that video will be effectively the same as this one. So you'll be able to duplicate the process of that video on this device if you want to dive even deeper. And furthermore, the other devices that I will mention here near the end, I'll have videos on every one that I've been able to get my hands on. I really love the whole BitAxe project and, of course, the fork of that project, Nerdax, and this newfound interest in and around home mining and trying to more open source mining and make it accessible and no longer the closed ecosystem that it has been in the past. I think that this project is really helping that drive forward, and we're getting so many people kind of diving into this realm, re-exploring the idea of mining at home. I think having a forever lottery ticket on your shelf is a compelling thing, and it also encourages education and people to really get deeper under the hood and understand how Bitcoin works at a more fundamental level. There's lots of options out there. The Nerdaxe is a great one, but if you are somebody that just maybe wants to dip your toe in and take advantage of the education, you don't need something as high powered, then check out some of the cheaper options that, are there over on CRYPTOCLOAKS and, like that little BitAxe. That'll do you just fine, especially if you're just learning and it's just a weekend project for you. So I encourage you to keep up at it and let me know how your experience goes and what other curiosities you have, and also what other devices you would like to see me cover. I'll check them out in the show notes and in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please do like, subscribe, and share. Those all help a ton. And of course, keep up with your educational journey. If you head over to btcsessions.ca/learn, you're going to find the Zero to Hero Bitcoiner in one page. And that's going to serve you up a whole bunch of different Bitcoiner skills with a dedicated tutorial video on each that will level you up fast. And if you want to dive deeper, there's full playlists on every topic above with many, many more videos and options for each of those concepts. And furthermore, if you find that the tutorials are not quite scratching that itch and you need some additional help, head over to my team at bitcoinmentor.io, where you can get the premium one-on-one experience with incredible educators that can make you certain that your Bitcoin stack and your security and your inheritance and all of that is rock solid. Again, bitcoinmentor.io. And with that, I'm out. Have a wonderful day or evening. Keep stacking sats, but as always, keep stacking skills. I'm Ben with the BTC Sessions. This was your daily session.